Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about a little Tuesday morning motivation. I wanted to call it Monday morning motivation because today is kind of my Monday, but it's Tuesday in retrospect. So I just wanted to talk about some moments I had, some self-reflection that I had over the weekend in between bouts of not doing my homework. And I wanted to tell you guys about it because I think that this is something that affects probably most people. And I'm going to generalize that because I assume that it affects everyone, but everyone's like, oh, I don't struggle with that. So, okay, awesome if you don't. If you don't, then feel free to move on from my video. I just had some moments where I realized that when I make mistakes, I want to beat myself up over it. And I don't know who it's benefiting or what it's benefiting, and I don't want to do it. So I'm sitting here telling you not to do it too. When you have a goal and you mess it up, you take the wrong path, or you don't use your time as wisely as you had intended, just move on. Start today, start fresh, start tomorrow, start fresh. I don't care when you start. Just start over and forgive yourself and give yourself some grace and move on. And another thing, realize that when you want to beat yourself up over how you didn't get to the gym today, or you didn't eat precisely on your macros, or you messed up your meal plan, move on. It's okay, and you're still going to get to your goal. And you're still going to be awesome. You're still going to be beautiful. You're still going to be handsome. And it's totally okay to have a slip up. We're not perfect. And you're honestly going to spend the rest of your life making mistakes. And so if you can't learn to forgive yourself now, this is going to be tough and you're going to struggle with this for the rest of your life. If you don't learn to control it also, you're going to affect everyone around you. And that means your relationships and your family and those that you really love. And it's tough when you have to be that person on the outside that has to deal with that person who just can't love themselves. And, while I want to be there for my friends who are having tough times or going through rough times and, they need to vent, I totally get that because I go through that too. But in the end, you get it out, you vent, and you move on because it's a learning process. If you don't make mistakes, you will never learn. You will never grow. Like is it Kelly Clarkson that says what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? I don't know. Y'all can let me know who said that. But it will make you stronger and you'll learn new things and you won't make that mistake again. And that's exactly where you want to be. You want to look back on life and say, you know what? I made tons of mistakes, but I learned tons of things. And I was able to teach other people how to not do these things. Now, whether or not they actually heeded that advice, now that's up to them. And it's just like that's up to you. You decide, you choose what you're going to do and what mistakes you're going to make. You make that decision. So just keep that in mind. And when you're beating yourself up over it, give yourself some grace, love yourself, and say, you know what? I freaking did it. Oh, well, I learned from it. And, maybe if I needed to apologize, I apologized and I made my wrongs right, and I'm going to move on now. When you plan to do something and then you don't do it, that's okay. You just redo it and make up for it, and you work harder next time. That's really what it comes down to. And I want to say something else. When someone compliments you, say thank you, and self-reflect for a moment and say, wow, that thing that I may have hated about myself, that person liked. And I didn't realize that it was so good and that you have a lot of wonderful things to offer, whether it's your character, it's your integrity, or your physique, or your hair, or your eyes, whatever it is. Say thank you and then be like, wow, I do have that wonderful quality. Love yourself because no one else is going to love you like you love yourself. And if you can't love yourself, as the old saying says, then no one else can truly love you, because when you are always talking down on yourself and you're always hating yourself, it just becomes irritating to be around people like you. And so then, people struggle to love you because they don't want to be around you. Maybe they don't struggle to love you, but they don't want to be around you. That's that's where I come from. But you have to love yourself. So whether you have to stand in front of your mirror naked and say, I love me, or whether you need to write it on a big Post-it note above your bed so that you see it every morning that says love yourself, do what you need to do. And then if there's something you want to change about yourself, you write that baby down. You make that a goal and you write it down and you make it measurable and you give it a deadline and you find someone to keep you accountable for it, and then you write that baby down and then you rock it. And if you mess up, that's fine. You learned. It's just like I heard on this podcast the other day, I don't remember what podcast it was, but it was about whether or not a boss would fire someone who had made a $100,000 mistake, who had messed up a job so bad that it cost the company $100,000. And the boss said, no, I wouldn't fire that person because that person just learned a $100,000 valuable lesson. So no, I'm not going to hire someone else so that they can make the same mistake. That person already learned their lesson. So go out this week, do awesome things, and give yourself some grace. Forgive yourself and move on and go rock your week. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.